Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and like I said, I'm going to be going over every single one of the Gladiator trim packages. Behind me, we have the 2020 Jeep Gladiator Overland. As always, we're going to do a quick walk around on the Gladiator, then we're going to take it out to see how it drives. This Gladiator is being provided to us by Larry H. Miller Jeep Chrysler here in Sandy, so if you're on the market for a new Jeep, check these guys out. And then if you are stopping in for the first time, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribed. Under the hood here, we have the 3.6 liter V6, which is going to be in every single Gladiator for this particular model year so far. This is routed through an 8-speed automatic transmission. In terms of fuel economy numbers, you're going to be good for 17 around town, 22 on the highway, and then power figures are going to be 285 horsepower and 260 pound-feet of torque. Up front here, we actually have the halogen lights with the regular turn signals, and then you've got the fog lights down below. This is the regular bumper. It doesn't have the steel bumper group or anything like that. You can get upgraded LED lights with this Overland package if you'd like, but this is kind of like your more like on the street version compared to the Rubicon, so that's why a lot of these won't be ordered out with all that stuff, because you don't need like the LED lights for extra visibility. With this, it'd be more for looks. And then you still get the standard Jeep grille, and then you'll notice regular hood just like on the Wranglers. This is kind of going to be more similar to a Sahara Wrangler, and then you'll notice you've got little rubber things on the hood, so if you do want to lower down the windshield onto those, you can. On the side here, we have these 18-inch rims with these all-season tires. Pretty normal setup, good for a Jeep that's just going to be used on the street. We've got the Gladiator badging, and then this does come with some running boards. The thing that I find funny about these running boards is they don't really help getting in and out of the Jeep all that much, but I mean, I guess if you ever did take this off-roading, which I hope you will, no matter what trim package of Gladiator you get, that will kind of protect the underside a little bit. Not really, but kind of. We have the key fob here for the Gladiator. It's got the little flip-up function. It is a push-button start, though, but that's just if you ever get locked out. You have your regular lock and unlock and a remote start, so if you press that twice, first time we'll lock it, second time we'll start up the Gladiator. You'll see it'll pop on, and then if you press that again, that'll shut the Jeep right off. Now that we have the Jeep unlocked, let's actually go into the bed first and foremost, so we can lower down the tailgate. It does have that slow lower function. This one does not have a bed liner. Obviously, you can get one after the factory. You can get it from the factory. LED bed lights, which actually look really cool in this bed, and then you see the power rear sliding window in the back, and you'll notice that this one has the body colored top and then body colored fenders. You can get those black, but I'm going to tell you guys right now, if you get a Gladiator, please get the body colored. It looks so much cleaner, so much better. Lifting up the tailgate, super light, really easy to put in place. You got the backup camera with the Jeep logo on the back. You do have some tow hooks. They're going to be painted black compared to the red ones that are on the Rubicon. This one's got the tow package on it, and then you can see just how skinny those rear tires are. I think this one needs some aftermarket rims on it. And then you do get the Overland badging. And the taillights, even though the front lights aren't LEDs, these taillights are actually LEDs on the Overland. Coming around to the side here, we can see the interior, but let's start with the door panel first. So we've got some stitching and some leather that comes with the Overland, and then regular door handles can be the same on all the Wranglers and Gladiators. And then we've got the seat backs, which these are actually nicer. You'll remember the Rubicon has that kind of like weird mesh. These are actually traditional seat backs, which is nice to have. And then when you look at the seats here, it's full leather, more of that white contrasted stitching. And then you still get the cup holders right here. These seats still do pull up. You still get the little storage things underneath. And then just like all the Jeeps, you can take off the rear part of this top. You do need to use tools. Jeep gives you a tool kit to take those off of, and then they do give you a little like kit thing to put all of the bolts in. I know all of you are familiar with that, but just thought I'd let you know. Coming around to the side, we've got keyless entry, so one touch to lock it, and then to unlock it, you just have to put your hand on the back of the door handle, and that'll unlock the Gladiator. Same front paneling, so it'll look identical to the rear, more of that white contrasted stitching with the leather. Door handle will be the same. Mirror controls are on the side of the door, and then you've got your lock and unlock function. And then over here we can see the seats, manually adjustable. No matter what package you get on the Gladiator, they are all going to be manually adjustable, and that's just because the electronics would break on them. So all those adjustments right here, and then there's that to push it forward or backwards. And then we can look at the pedal layout just down below right here. We do have the light controls, and then these are for the screens. And then last thing on the seats, they do say Overland on them, and the bolsters on these are really wide, so they're comfortable, and pretty much everyone can fit in these seats. Stepping in, step-in height's actually really good. It's really easy to get in and out of the Jeep. And then just putting our foot on the brake, push the push start, it'll start right up. Sorry about the lighting. This is the only time of day that I had to actually film, but you can see the gauges will do a sweep and everything will start right up. Looking at the steering wheel right here, we can see that this one's pretty loaded up with safety tech. So if you look at the side mirror, you got blind spot monitoring over there. This has the cruise control and adaptive cruise control system. You pretty much can get all the same safety tech on, you know, like any other Jeep. So forward collision warning, you can get the rear cross traffic alert, lane departure assistance, all that kind of safety tech. And then over on the other side of the steering wheel, we've got all of our voice commands, and then that's for the center screen. We'll go over that momentarily. There are rocker panels on the back of the steering wheel to change the radio stations. And then I love the steering wheel design with the leather wrapped and then the contrasted stitching in the middle. Looks really good, feels really nice to hold. Sorry about the glare from the sun, but you can see on the left-hand side, we've got the RPMs. On the right-hand side, we have the speed, and then you have that little configurable center screen. I'll go through a couple menus on it. So you can see this basically gives you any bit of information you want. Even though this is the Mommy Mall Crawler version, you still get to see some off-road stuff with this Gladiator, but you can see all the different bits of info that you can scroll through, but we're just going to keep it to be a speedo per normal. Now, before I go over the touchscreen, I'd like to mention leather dash with some stitching, which is a nice upgrade. We've got the little circular vents down here. This is the 8.4-inch touchscreen, so it's the upgraded touchscreen for the Gladiators. I've gone over this in a bunch of different Jeeps. They have the rubber sealing around it so that you can spray this off with your hose if you'd like to, which I don't think you'd want to do that, but it's whatever. You still get the off-road pages on this, so I've gone over that in the other Jeep reviews. If you want, I can just leave a link to that in my Gladiator review that has that. This comes with navigation. You can get heated seats and heated steering wheel. No air-conditioned seats in these though, because obviously those would break if you get this too dirty. And then we can see the backup camera right there, and it does have a little zoom function down onto the receiver hitch with that. Other than that, touchscreen is super responsive, very easy to use. Now looking just down below, we have all of our analog controls, so analog radio controls, and then you have your dual zone climate, and then you have your analog controls for the heated seats, heated steering wheel. We've got our mute button for the radio, auto stop start stability control. That's to turn on and off your parking sensors. That's your off-road cruise control, which is a pretty neat feature on the Jeeps. And then we've got a bunch of charging stations just down in this area. Those are for your windows. They always keep those in the center for the Jeeps. And then some other switches. And then we're gonna get into this area next. So we can see that you've got your 2-wheel high, 4-wheel high, neutral, and 4-wheel low. That'll help out with the off-roading. And then your shifter for that 8-speed automatic transmission. There is a manual shift mode as well if you wanna shift the gears yourself. Traditional handbrake. And then we've got some cup holders to finish things off in this area. Now in terms of storage, we've got a little center console thing. It's got some nice white stitching on it, and we can pick this up. There's a little storage tray on the top, and then you can pick it up further to get into the rest. They do give you another little charging station right in there, and then they give these little areas where you can thread some wire through if you want to have your wire connected there, but you want to have your phone on the outside part, which actually you could put your phone right there, interestingly enough. More stitching here on the dash with some leather, and then the rest of the storage, we do get a glove box identical to what's in the Wranglers, and then little grab handle in normal Jeep fashion. Looking up top here, we have our assist buttons, and then this is for the T-top, so you just have to unlatch all these little things here. No tools needed for this front part, and you can remove these tops very easily. And then they do have some insulation here. That is for heat and then for sound, so it doesn't make as much crazy sounds. And you can kind of look how much would actually show. So like all this stuff here, this would still be on. It's just this top, that roof part, all that, they would actually remove when you remove that stuff from the Gladiator, and it gives it a really cool look when you actually take everything off. So the Overland is kind of like the upgraded interior without the upgraded off-road capability of the Rubicon, if that's what you're looking for. That all being said though, let's take the 2020 Gladiator Overland out to see how it drives. So it's official, this little thing, that's the phone holder, okay? I mean, it works pretty well. I mean, my phone's not the biggest. I only have an iPhone 8. I'm not someone who spends a lot of money on phones, and it fits it really well. I mean, I feel like I could even fit a larger phone than this, and my phone has a case on it as well. Initially setting off in this Overland, the first thing I'm noticing is the ride quality on this is substantially smoother than the ride quality on the Rubicons, and that's just from the tires. It's not going to be nearly as rough. Those mudding tires on that last Rubicon I drove were just atrocious in terms of ride quality. And then there's not as much road noise that comes through as well. And most of that's just tire, honestly. It really is just down to the tires that are on the different Jeeps. Visibility, just like all the other Gladiators, really good. Visibility throughout both the mirrors is good. Blind spot monitor is going to keep you safe on that part. Over the hood, it's really easy to see the edge of it. It's a short hood and it just abruptly ends. And then out the back window, it's super easy to see on that as well. In terms of steering, the steering on this is actually more direct, and that's just because the suspension on this isn't as high as what's on the Rubicon, and then also just the tires, everything a little bit higher, so this doesn't float around nearly as much. The steering feel on it's a lot more direct. So turning here to get a little bit of acceleration. Yeah, I'm noticing since this one's a little bit lower to the ground and the tires just aren't as large and aggressive and all that, it seems to accelerate a little bit better than the Rubicon. And I mean, it's just common sense at this point, right? You put bigger tires, you have higher suspension, the vehicle is going to slow down a little bit. I mean, it just makes sense. But if you're looking for like an on-road, you know, Gladiator, this is going to be your better bet. Now on that note, let's sum things up. So if you're in the market for a smaller size pickup truck, or you're just a Jeep person and you want a Jeep pickup truck, where the Overland sits is this is going to be your more like luxury based Gladiator, but it's not going to have all the crazy off-road stuff that the Rubicon has. So if you want a Jeep that you can drive every single day very comfortably, you're not planning on taking it off-road, which is sad to me, but that happens more often than not with these Jeeps. There's way more mommy mall crawlers than there are Moab beasts or whatever you want to call them. And so with all that, if you're looking for something that's a little bit more comfortable on road and you want the more luxury version, then the Overland is going to be the trim package for you. And there we have it, everyone, the 2020 Jeep Gladiator Overland. Thank you everyone so much for watching. And again, this vehicle was provided to us by Larry H. Miller Jeep Chrysler here in Sandy. So if you're on the market for a new Jeep, definitely check these guys out. If you are stopping for the first time, I'd really appreciate it if you'd subscribe, comment down below what you thought, and I'll see all of you in that next video. So I just finished filming that Gladiator review, and there's a Sport behind me. Too bad that one's pre-sold, but I will get a Sport review up. But anyways, I realized that I wore my Ram shirt today, so that was a bad call for me. Oops.